Do you know that feeling where you physically transform yourself in some way and you feel like, yes, this is so much more me right now? This week I chopped off my hair, and as soon as she just started making the first few cuts, I already felt this sense of relief. Like, this feels so much more aligned with the person that I am right now today. Welcome to Worldly Families. I'm Justine. Traveling to over 40 countries and living abroad has opened my eyes to new ways of being and doing. I'm all about helping you expand your horizons so you can live and parent more intentionally and more joyfully. In this video, we'll be talking about authenticity, identity, and how to help your kids feel comfortable in their own skin. A few weeks ago, when I was in Mexico with my daughter, Autumn, I read a book called Greedy, Notes from a Bisexual Who Wants Too Much by Jen Winston. This book had me laughing out loud, literally, crying on the beach in Tulum. I mean, it was so heartfelt, hilarious, insightful, validating. It was honestly one of the best books I've ever read, and it has transformed me more than any book I've ever read. This book helped reignite this curiosity, this questioning of everything, and this introspection, all that I had been really heavily doing in 2018 when I figured out that I was bisexual. One concept I've learned about sexual orientation is that the opposite of bisexual is monosexual, meaning attracted to one gender. Bisexual does not mean attracted to two genders. It means attracted to your own gender and any other gender or genders. It's a common myth or stereotype that bisexuals are confused, and a lot of people seek to debunk that stereotype. What I loved about this book was that instead of trying to debunk that, Jen Winston embraces the fact that, yes, we're confused. We're confused as hell. And that makes us curious. It makes us question the status quo. It makes us push against the boundaries of society because they don't feel right. One thing I've been questioning a lot is, what do I like because I, Justine, genuinely like it, versus what do I like because I've been trained to like it by society at large, by the patriarchy. I'm saying this not in an angry way, but in just a neutral, factual way, that throughout most of modern history, straight, white, cisgendered men have had the most power and control and influence over the rules of society. And so, therefore, the things that we are trained to view as attractive or desirable come from their vantage point. I'm white, I'm cisgendered, I have a lot of privilege because of those things, but I'm not straight and I'm not a man. And my views differ. I'll just speak to my own personal lived experience in this realm. One of the things I've been questioning is, do I have long hair because I actually want and like my long hair right now? Or do I have it because I've been trained by society since as young as I can even remember to have long hair because that is the epitome of femininity and feminine beauty? The answer is, it's hotter than hell in Texas right now. It's over 100 degrees most days. I'm a partner dancer. I end up whipping my partners in the eyes with my long hair, and then it's like a sweaty blanket on my back, like, ugh, no thank you. So the truth is, I actually want and feel more like something light and spunky right now. In the past, I probably would have worried about what people said or thought, or what about people who are attached to my long hair. This time around, I was doing this for me and for nobody else. I don't care what anyone thinks of my hair. And I've chopped my hair off before and donated it, and then I'll grow it out, chop it like once every 5 years or so. But this time, it had more meaning because it's almost like I am taking a stance to be my authentic self and to give others permission to be their authentic selves. Hey, I'm editing this video now and realized I forgot to mention that there's an actual thing called the bi bob. It's not super long and feminine, but not super short and masculine. It lives right in that in-between place, which makes a lot of sense. Even my haircut goes both ways. Same thing with my smile. Thank you, appreciate it, and know when is the appropriate time and place. There's a couple times where it's been totally inappropriate for me to get recognized for my smile. One example, at the end of my French minor, my French instructor was giving out awards to the class, things like best accent, best grammar, and I will admit, French has never come easily to me. I've had to work very, very hard to achieve fluency in French. I don't even expect an award, but since they were giving out awards to everybody, I got best smile. What does smiling have to do with French? Maybe best attitude or most effort? I would have taken any of that, would have been a little bit more validating about like what's actually going on in here. There are other things like wearing heels or painting my nails that I've just never been into, but I always sort of tried because it's like what you're supposed to do. And it's just not my thing. Not to say that I'll never wear heels again or paint my nails again, but I will do it if I feel like doing it for me, not to look a certain way for anyone else. I've been really intentional about talking Autumn through this process of deciding to get my hair cut and why, because the reasoning is the most important. She's recently been feeling like, Mom, I'm kind of done with like all the dresses and all the pink and sparkles, and I'm more feel like a tomboy now. And so now she actually wants to get her hair chopped into a bob as well. I've also even been questioning who I'm attracted to and what that is trained by, because ever since I figured out that I was bisexual, I felt like, you know what, I'm attracted to really femme women and really masculine men. But that also fits into this binary system, right? There's everything in between. And I think I've been trained to be attracted to those extremes on either end. Now I feel like what I'm most attracted to is authenticity, no matter how that expresses itself. In fact, bonus points if you're going outside the norm and just doing what's you. If you're a dude that gets your nose pierced, regardless of your gender identity, when you do you, that is so attractive. It's so respectable. I just absolutely am such a big fan and cheerleader of people living their authentic lives, being their authentic selves. 49% of 16 to 25-year-olds identify as something other than straight. I was a substitute teacher last year for a bit in different schools around Austin. And granted, Austin is a little bubble. It's a little blueberry in the tomato soup of Texas, right? But at the same time, the students at these schools were so good with pronouns and stuff. When I was taking roll call, I would call out names and they would say, oh, he's gone, she'll be late, they're coming, he, they, he, she, they, like, no big deal. They knew everyone's pronouns and used them so fluidly. We actually have a houseplant named Larissa, Larry for short, that is a non-binary houseplant because it allows us to practice our pronouns. I remember thinking about my sexuality back when I was in elementary school. I mean, early elementary, thinking, how do people know if they're gay or straight? And I always had that question, you know, and I didn't start getting crushes until like 4th, 5th, 6th grade. And they were all on boys at the time. But I think part of that was training and socialization of like, this is the option. Now I think that times have changed and it seems like this is the other option, is to be gay. And these are the two acceptable options: to be monosexual, you're either straight or you're gay, and nobody really believes you if you're actually bisexual. There's the least amount of research done on bisexuality. It's the least well understood. It's just as dangerous to be bisexual as it is to be transgender. Folks in those two categories are the most sexually harassed, the most attacked, like in very equivalent levels. That's shifting and changing, and the more that we can do in our homes to normalize, the better off our kids will be, because they'll understand that there are options, that they don't have to fit into one box or another, and that they can explore and figure it out for themselves. I was trying to find books for Autumn because we've been talking about these subjects, and she's been exploring who she has crushes on and things like that. And it's really hard to find anything for that age on bisexuality, or even any books with bisexual characters in them, even if the book isn't about bisexuality. There's a lot of stuff about being gay and lesbian. Like, that is so mainstream now. But it's hard to find stuff with other family structures too. Polyamory. Not everybody is monogamous. There's a huge growing contingent of people who are ethically non-monogamous or polyamorous. And that also lives in this in-between space. If you are thinking about opening up your relationship at all, there's a great book that's the Poly Bible called More Than Two, which I highly recommend reading. It's a great relationship book, just in terms of learning about communication and trust and authenticity, and it's super fascinating. It opened my eyes to all of the different possibilities that are out there for the type of relationship that you can build with your partner or partners. Any type of arrangement that you can imagine, it exists. I also really recommend this show on HBO called Hacks. It's getting critical acclaim. It's so heartwarming and funny. Plus, a large portion of the staff are queer, both the actors, the writers, and so they have great representation, and they're really thoughtful about covering queer topics. One of the two main characters in that show actually is bisexual, and she is talking to the other main character, both female leads, which I love, and she says that you're born with your sexual orientation, but whether or not you choose to explore it is up to you. One thing I love about the queer community is that it's such an accepting group of people. So much love and acceptance for people being their authentic selves. If you've lived your life pretty much by the book, if you are a perfectionist or a recovering perfectionist and you do all the things right, if you're somebody who immediately does everything well, step outside your comfort zone. Maybe meditate on this, get quiet, and just think about what's some kind of wild idea or crazy thing that I've sort of always secretly kind of wanted to do, and just try it. Maybe just do it and see what happens. To me, taking these little baby steps, like chopping off my hair, it's an authentic expression of who I feel like I am on the inside. And that helps me connect more with myself. And when I'm more connected with myself, I can connect more deeply with others. So this is your invitation to do something that's outside of the societal norm, and to talk about it with your kids, to talk about the rules that we're taught and how we're not bound by those rules. They're more like guidelines. I would love to know in the comments below what you're thinking of doing that's a little outside your comfort zone, outside your normal, but would feel pretty cool to actually do. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has inspired you, and I will see you in the next one.